Hey everyone, welcome back to Star Dynasties. I'm DisturbingPuppet. So I just want to do a final video here for the wrap-up of the end of the campaign with the Dracul Dominion. So I was playing a bit of this, and I thought I'd do at least something short to people who might be interested. Yeah, my empire is so big it doesn't even fit all at once maximum zoomed out on the universe here. So yeah, we're actually at the point here. You can kind of see Vlad has finally died. So we'll do a kind of a quick recap. Actually, Vlad just died last turn. This is the beginning of the very next turn. So what I did was just trying to rush to get to all the various different territories that I could to conquer in order to reach the 58 territories that I needed to win. And I was trying to do that with Vlad still in charge, but unfortunately he died just one turn too early. So what happened? So there was an alliance down here under the Raymond Collective. So what I ended up doing, the Yang sector here had a claim on Epsilon Iridani, which is under the Raymond Collective, and the Alexander clan was part of that. So I went to the Alexander clan specifically and said, hey, these guys have a claim on it. I'm going to back them up. If you don't give them the territory, I'm going to back them up in a war. And they're like, okay, here, take it. Okay, good. Excellent. So that was another system under our belt. I was looking at other places I could go for claims. So there were other spots, like potentially up here. If the Bates clan could get their crap under control, we could try to go for Ross 128. We have claims a few other places we could try to push. I think we had one. There's actually a couple more down here in this territory that we're now eating, and that's kind of what finished things off. So my spy operation down here in the Raymond Collective unearthed some not so nice things about the leader, and I went ahead. It was actually the first time a spy operation has done anything particularly useful. She didn't have a great reputation, so I went ahead and released the information, which made all of her vassals unhappy with her. Um, so then I just kind of sat back for a bit here, and then the Alexander clan here, who had just given me this territory, offered to join my faction. Okay, absolutely, I'm going to do that. So yeah, come on in. Irritated her a bit, and then she declared war on me, demanding the territory back. I said no, so I went ahead and attacked Megrez, and in the attack on Megrez, they kind of fielded what they could. I had a lot of cash I could throw around, so I hired a ton of mercenaries, and they capitulated and just gave me everything and surrendered rather than me moving in and taking Megrez myself. So they're still in charge. That's one thing. Like taking over an area, I found it's actually a lot more useful to leave the local people in charge. You might have to, you know, demote some people, but it works out a lot better than putting your own people in there. It can cause a lot of issues and problems and succession issues and stuff, unless you're really, really on top of that. So that gave me a whole bunch. So I think I only needed at that point 4 more territories, something like that. So I was looking at the Compton Alliance here had a claim on 82 Eridani. The Alexander clan has claim on Furcad, so we could push that kind of stuff as well. So I went ahead and pushed a claim on 82 Eridani. So these are old friends of mine. These guys are even like have had rulers that are somewhat related to me. The Murphy planets here, this little alliance, but they're kind of getting swallowed up by me and haven't really expanded in a long time. So I thought that they would give me 82 Eridani, and then I could make a claim at Faircod and maybe fight over that, and that would be the end of things. Instead, they actually fought at 82 Eridani. I offered them to surrender in order to join my empire to stop my attack on 82 Eridani, and they refused. So, okay, we went ahead and went in, and we conquered 82 Eridani and left the local lord there in charge. So all I need at this point, I've already played through this, it just kind of reset it because the game ends once you reach another one, another territory, is that their defenses are quite weak. Other places, we did fight a very small battle here. So Ross 248 was the next one that I grabbed to just kind of finish things off very quickly. But unfortunately, yes, Vlad died, and then Neville here, who has become okay. Stat-wise, admin's pretty good, tech is pretty good, military's crappy, actually got diplomacy up to a reasonable amount because I've been training this like his entire life. Security's pretty awful. So at the same time, I can't even remember who it was, but my administration counselor also died. Everyone's also unhappy because Vlad died, so our effectiveness has been tanked. So your happiness affects that quite a bit as far as your skills and stuff. So all I really did here was to throw somebody into there and go ahead and launch the attack, and that finishes things up for me. So, I mean, I guess I could do it again, but let's take a look at the victory. So score, I don't know why it suddenly tanked, probably because Vlad died, so something about the score impacting that. Power, it's not really showing anybody else. Stability's taken a drop because Vlad died. Bloodline, income, all that good stuff. So yeah, we're just a massive conglomeration. The Atkinson coalition here, I've been able to kind of keep on side. I do have some claims we could maybe try to push here and there, but I feel like one of two things happens after the end of this. So at 58, I have more than 50% of all the habitable planets. A tech storyline also popped up where we have the possibility, maybe, of terraforming a planet, because technically we all live in sort of these old, decrepit habs that are sort of falling apart and we can barely repair, and no one's actually living on habitable planets. We're actually like on star bases and stuff, which is kind of an odd thing to think about given the number of people that are around and the tech level. You think there'd be at least some terraformable planet somewhere, but there might be another way to win by doing that and completing that storyline, and maybe I would just need to do another expedition and get that done for that to carry out. So we found like an old terraforming planet somewhere up here in the McGrath system, and then the Wolf Collective here actually had the planets that were like where it came from, and they had some old tech and stuff. Oh, that's something actually we also conquered the Wolf Collective here. So they were part of the Lee planets, but we had a claim here for the Compton Alliance for them as well. So we did kind of the same thing. We claimed just on a local level Homom. We took it. They stayed at war with us, so I went ahead and just conquered them, which didn't make the Lees any happier, but I'm, keeping them on side enough to not be too super angry with me. So all I really have to do to win, it'll just kind of stop the game though. Although you do have the option to carry on if you want to. I don't know why. Like I feel like it's already kind of rough to get to this point. We have done pretty well in doing it in basically one lifetime, and Vlad ruled for about 50 some odd years. I think it was 52 by the time he died, which is pretty nuts. Just the amount of impact and power that he had from where we started to conquering all of this. But I feel like with Neville here, even with my diplomatic core, and keeping people on side and fairly happy. Once people are happier again, like she's currently, everyone's miserable, so our stats are down. But I feel like we could probably hold everything together. It's possible we'll lose some people over the next few turns. He might join some of the other coalitions or try to go independent. So that is a possibility, and things might kind of break apart again. But we've basically become a massive unifying force across the galaxy, and we have so much strength. Even if like one leaves, we could always just kind of force them back in or something. So all I really have to do is take one more territory. So all I need to do over here, if I wanted to, is assign somebody to the council. We have a guy that we picked up through an event that we can immediately throw in there if we want to. That is going to irritate my wife, I think, because she's not on the council. Yeah, what you going to do? But that puts us at a point where we're actually only a little bit over, and once people are happier, that would be fine. So we can actually look and see we have a big advantage in Mesarthim and in Ross 248. So I just launched an attack at Ross 248 just immediately, very quickly, so we can just very easily do that. Launch the attack. Go ahead and have my admiral take over. Actually, not my admiral's friend will take over because she's a little bit better in a fight. And then we could go ahead and, because we have just tons of cash to throw at this problem, let's just call a bunch of mercenaries. So he's going to take personal command. They know we're coming. So we have people that might agree to fight for us or not. Call in anyone that we really can. So they are going to bring some defenses. You can kind of see we're pretty limited in where we can grab forces from. Even though our capital isn't super far away, we still can't reinforce anything this far. So you are very reliant on your vassals to reaching out with force. You really, really need to have that strength with your local vassals and have them built up enough that they can actually fight for you. We've got a couple more. Is it worth it? Is it saying like she might not? We think they'll refuse. Interesting. Give me a few more there. And I don't have enough cash. We could go ahead and try to call her anyway. She refused. Yeah, that's fine. She was just part of this alliance not too long ago, so that's sort of reasonable. So go ahead and launch the attack. We have just massive numbers. They abandon the defenses. We take it over. So all I have to do is end the turn. We're going to leave her in power, which makes her happy. I'm going to give it to the Compton Alliance, so it'll just kind of help make her happier. So she's now a subject of the Compton Alliance, along with 82 Eridani. So I basically gave this one they had the claim to. We took that. So this we didn't have a claim to, so it's sort of, what do I do with it? We give it to them. I'm not going to try to run a territory out here all by itself. It's going to be a lot weaker that way anyway. So when I end the turn, game's over. So at this point, yeah, if we look at victory, it's not updated yet. We've got all 58 systems, so we're totally set. So yeah, that's kind of the end of the campaign for the Dracul Dominion. Now, the question is, with this game, is it worth it? Is it worth playing? Would I play it again? I don't think I would play it again. I think since I've actually won, it's kind of tempting to try something to see what the tech result would be. So this is Crusader Kings in space, kind of, on a light scale. Crusader Kings has the advantage of it being historical. You can try to recreate historical things. You can try to change historical things. You can play specific historical people that really existed. It makes it a lot more interesting. It gives it a lot of replayability. In this, you have a random family. I mean, you can kind of make your main character. You can make a little bit about your house. If you could pick some bloodline picks to start with, maybe. We ended up pushing a bit more towards fleet and conquest here. I did end up picking the diplomat also. So we're very militaristic diplomats with high tech, mildly genetically engineered. So that's kind of where we ended up being, and our serfs love us. So that was kind of just what we ended up with. How close was I? Yeah, pretty far away from getting another one. Every time you get one, it increases the amount you need to pick up another, and so it takes longer and longer to pick those up. So Crusader Kings has a lot of replayability. This, I feel like every game is going to be relatively the same. You're not going to be changing tech. You're not going to, like, your starting location is going to be random. You can change some things about your family, like we saw in the first video, to sort of tailor what you want to do or what you might want to do. You could play it kind of differently. You could try to be like a really, really nice alliance builder and try to stay at peace. But I feel like you'd end up like the Atkinson Coalition, and you would just sort of end up getting surrounded by someone who's willing to push a little harder. And I was relatively nice. Like, I had plenty of sort of alliances and individual groups that willingly joined the Dracul Dominion, or like came to me and said, hey, please let us join the Dracul Dominion, because Vlad was very likable. We were very nice. We didn't raise taxes to a crazy high amount. We were very reliable. I defended the honor of people. I defended systems that were attacked. Like, I did all of those things that sort of made me a likable character, which meant people were much more likely to join. We also had really good diplomats, so that made it so everyone just generally liked us. Can you do things differently? Yes. Would it work? I'm not sure. Is it worth it to play? Like, if you can get this game in the DLC on sale, I think it's worth it, because for playing the tutorial and messing around with that for quite a bit and then doing this campaign, I'm looking at, it's been about 40 hours of my time. 40 hours, and I think I probably, like, I didn't buy these on like crazy discount because I bought this quite a while ago. It's probably like 20 some odd bucks that I paid for the main game and the DLC combined. Probably like 25 bucks, something like that. For 40 some hours of entertainment, I think that's pretty worth it. I think my time was good. I enjoyed a lot of things about the game, but I'm not sure it's interesting enough to want to play again. There's not enough different things that I can do. A lot of the events that I saw in the tutorial also popped up during this campaign. A number of them were different, but a lot of them were the same ones. So I feel like if you're going to play this game multiple times, you're just going to run into the same stuff over and over and over again, and might not be that great. But play the tutorial, and to mess around with it, and to run a campaign where you end up winning for like 20 some odd bucks. It's probably less than that now if the game's on sale. Probably like 10 bucks for the game in DLC if it's on sale. Is totally worth it if you're interested in this kind of game. So I would give it a mild recommendation if it's on sale for anyone who wants to play around with it if they're interested, but I don't think I will play it anymore. So I think I got a good amount out of it, but I'm kind of ready to move on to something else. So this has been the Dracul Dominion's conquest of pretty much all that's left of humanity in the far distant future. Hopefully, I will see you in something else in the future. So this has been Star Dynasties. I've been Disturbing Puppet. Thanks for coming by. Hopefully, I'll see you next time. Until then, have a good one.